In this lesson, we're going to learn about writing in function notation. So writing in function notation. Equations that represent functions are often written in function notation. So we have this equation, y is equal to 4x minus 1. To write this equation in function notation, we simply are going to replace that y with the f of x. And then the rest of it's the same. So we've got the f of x is equal to 4x minus 1. So when function can be written as an equation, the symbol f of x replaces the y, and it's read as the f of x. This does not mean f times x. The typical notation for a function is the f of x. However, you can use any letters to write a function. I want to point out that whatever variable is in here needs to be the variable that is in your equation there. So if you've got the f of x, you need to have then the 4x minus 5. Notice here you've got the f of n, and you have the n is in your part of the equation. Here I've got the g of x, and notice how I've got that the x is part of the equation, and then here you'd say this the a of b, and I've got that variable b. So whatever letter you have or variable that you have in the parentheses has to be the variable that you're finding in the part of the equation. So example 1, how do I write in function notation? Identify the functions below that are written in function notation. Remember we said that whatever variable is in the parentheses has to be the variable that's used in that part of the equation or the expression. And so let's take a look at this first one. Notice how we have the x, the f of x, but notice how we have that f there. In order for that to be a function, you'd have to have a 3x. That x has to match, or the x that's in the parentheses has to match the variable that's with your in your equation. So this is going to be a no. It's not written in function notation. Now for number 2, I have the g of x is equal to 2x. Notice how the variables, they match. I've got an x and I've got an x. So this is written in function notation. For letter 3, for number 3, we've got the f of x is equal to 5y minus 3. And again, we're looking for these variables to match. And because they don't match right there, it is going to be no. All right, so you've got a of b is equal to 4b plus 4. And those variables match, so this is going to be a yes. Now you've got the h of x is equal to x all over 5 plus 4. So this is yes, because notice that that's written in function notation because it's written as a function, and you can have the x at the top. If you have the x at the top, it's actually going to be like the h of x is equal to 1/5 x plus 4. Now our next one, I've got an x here, but I've got the g here, and it can't be that g. It has to be whatever numbers or variable is in the parentheses. So this one's going to be a no. Now notice for number 7, you've got the f of x and then you've got an x. However, so the variables match. However, to be a function, you cannot have an x on the bottom of an equation. And so this would be then a no. And our next one, the b and the c, those do not match, and so this is also not a function. Now, how do I identify the parts of a function? So first of all, you have the f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. And remember, this is just another way of writing the y is equal to 2x minus 3. So let's talk about the independent variable, the dependent variable, the coefficient, and the constant. So earlier in the chapter, remember, we've talked about the independent variable. And we said that the independent variable is always our x. And the dependent variable is always our y. So for our independent variable here, our independent variable is just going to be the x. And the dependent variable we've said is the y. But when we write in function notation, we replace that y with the f of x. So we're going to then say that the dependent variable is the f of x. Now, I think it was back in chapter 1 or 2, we talked about the coefficient and the constant. Remember, the coefficient is always the number with the variable. And the constant is always the number without. Or it's the number that's all by itself. So when we look at this function here, we've got the f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. So we're going to locate then the number with the variable. And the number with the variable, our coefficient, is the 2. And you don't include that x, you just put the number that's with the variable. And now we need to identify the number without the variable. So the number without the variable here, because you've got a minus before the 3, we have to then say that the constant, or the number without the variable, is a negative 3. If I had a plus 3, all you'd have to do is write 3. But here I don't. I have minus 3, so we have to identify that as a negative 3. So let's pause the video for a minute here. You go ahead and identify the parts, and then once you have identified them, let's resume the video and we can check to see how we did. All right, so we should have identified the independent variable as the h, the dependent variable, which we know then is always the y, but in this case it's going to be the f of h. The coefficient, the number with the variable, is negative 1/2, and then the constant is the 12, the number without the variable. All right, so just like in the last example, the independent variable here is going to be just our x. The dependent variable would be the f of x. Now I want to talk about this coefficient, the number with the variable. The number with the variable here, in this case, you've got the x all over 3. It's like I could put a 1 with that, and therefore the coefficient is 1/3. And then the constant, the number without the variable, that's a 12. All right, in example number 2, we're going to look at how do I evaluate a function. So it says, let the f of x equal to 7x plus 4. Now what it's doing is it's telling us that the f of x is equal to 18. And remember we said that's like saying y is equal to 18, or in this case you could have y is equal to 7x plus 4. So what you're given here is you're given that f of x or the y, and so remember we're going to plug them in. You plug in what you know and you solve for what you don't. So if the f of x is equal to 18, we have now 7x plus 4. All right, so because it gave us the f of x, we just plugged that in for the f of x, and then we wrote the rest of the equation. And now we're just going to solve it. So to solve it, we're going to isolate the variable by subtracting the 4. And now we're going to divide by 7. And we should have x then is equal to 2. Now, for question number 2, notice it says, what is the f of x when x is equal to 4? So it's really important for you to identify what it is or in the variable that they're giving to you. In this case, they're saying the x is equal to 4. Don't get that mixed up with the x right here. That is the f of x. We're going to plug in this x because they're just saying x is equal to 4. So we're going to plug in that 4 where we see the x. So you're going to have the f of x is equal to 3 times 4 plus 4. And then you're just going to simplify. You'll have the f of x is equal to 3 times 4 is 12, and then 12 plus 4, you'll have 16. So when x is equal to 4, the f of x, or like the y, that is going to be equal to 16. All right, so for our next example, number 3, it says let the f of x equal to 4x minus 2. It's saying that if the independent variable is 5, what's the value of the dependent variable? And remember, we have been doing that for a while. When the independent variable, so x is the independent, and the dependent, the y is the dependent. So it says if the independent variable is 5, so it's basically saying when x is 5, what is the dependent variable? So we're just going to plug in for x, and then we'll simplify. So I have the f of x is equal to 4 times 5 minus 2. So this one we just have to simplify. So the f of x is going to be equal to 4 times 5 is 20, and then 20 minus 2 is equal to 18. So when the independent variable is 5, the dependent, or the f of x, is equal to 18. Now it's saying if the dependent variable is 18, well, remember, the dependent variable is our y, or we also have said, I should have had that up there before, that the f of x, I don't know why that's not right there. Okay, the f of x is also known as our dependent. And so we're going to plug in, if the dependent variable is 18, that means the f of x is equal to 18. So 18 is equal to 4x minus 2. And now, just like we've been doing, we're going to isolate the variable. And then you're going to divide by 4. And then x will be equal to 5. All right, so I would like you to try number 4, pause the video, work on number 4, and when you're done with that, then resume the video and check to see if you did it correctly. All right, when you plugged in the independent variable, the x, right here for the x, and then you simplified, you should have gotten the f of x is equal to 27. And then when the dependent variable is 17, you're plugging that in for the f of x. And when you solved for that, hopefully you got x is equal to 3. All right, example number 5. Let the f of x equal to x squared plus 4. So in the independent variable, again, independent variable is our x, is negative 3. We're going to plug that in here. Now, I do want to remind you that, remember, when you've got a negative number that's assigned to a variable, and especially when it's squared, you do have to have a parentheses around it, because that is going to make it different than if you didn't have the parentheses. So you have to have negative 3 squared plus 4. So in your parentheses, so negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9, and then we're going to add the 4. So the f of x will be equal to then 13. All right, so now it says again, if the independent variable, so this one, the independent variable is negative 5, what is the value of the dependent variable? So we're just looking here for the independent variable again. So we're plugging in the independent variable. So the f of x is equal to then negative 5 in parentheses squared and then plus 4. And again, negative 5 times negative 5, so you have the f of x. It's 25 plus 4, you'd have 29. And now in our last example, it says if the independent variable, so again, independent variable is equal to negative 3, we're going to have the f of x is equal to the absolute value of negative 3 plus 2. And remember, back in a previous chapter that we had learned that when you have them and you're simplifying, you have to take the absolute value of that number first, and absolute value is always going to be positive. So the f of x is equal to then positive 3 plus 2, making that equal to 5. And once again, when the independent variable is equal to 3, you're plugging in that 3 for the x. So the f of x is equal to the absolute value of 3 plus 2. Well, the absolute value of 3 is 3, and 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. All right, so in this lesson, we took a look at how to evaluate functions in function notation.